Hello, this is Angela with the Natural Living Directory, and I am here to get a personal experience for Jon Royal of Center for Health and Harmony, and we are going to talk with Jo today and her experiences with Jon. So I will move to behind the camera, and we'll leave Jo front and center. All right. So Jo, let's talk a little bit about when you started seeing Jon, and what was it that attracted you to his services?
I think that probably the most important thing at the time was the fact that the first session was going to be free.
Yes.
And having had very little knowledge of what this was about, and having been caught into the medical community for so many years, because I've lived a long life, I was willing to try it. And back in '85, when I was in the pain center, my goal was to get as healthy as I could, because at that time I was exaggeratingly thin and ill and mentally unstable. So this was, though it was 2002 and I was 74 years old at the time, I was willing to try anything. And it was amazing. That first session, I was hooked. About 4 sessions later, somebody came in and did a news story about Jon, and fortunately I got to be the model for that. And 8 months after I started, my medications began to drop, and I no longer needed some of the doctors I had. And over time, after starting on things like codeine at age 13 for what is now called PMS, we didn't know about that then. It was a really traumatic thing going through my life after I believe I had 18 surgeries. I've been in the hospital. I've lost track of much of that. But my health had degenerated to a tremendous degree. I could hardly move. I had gone through voc rehab at one time because my health was so poor. And eventually, with the help of Jon and understanding the,
mind-body connection?
The connection to not just mind and body, but spirit as well, because my spirit was just as sick as the rest of me. Mm-hmm. And to be able to connect all that together really made a difference. And as we progressed, I did 10 sessions, and my health kept improving and improving. And as time went on, I decided I needed another 10 sessions. Mm-hmm. So I went for 10 more. And I've encouraged many people to go. And what I have found is I've had one friend that I encouraged to go, and it's just amazing. Well, I see in her what had happened to me. And I feel healthy. My sense of well-being is very good. I'm down to just 3 meds as opposed to 13, or no, 7. I lost track. I was on so many for so long. One of my favorite things was I had a situation with my lungs that had been going on for some time, and I went to the pulmonologist, and the last time I went, she came in and she was just delighted. She said, "You know, you're just a smidge off normal." And I laughed and laughed, and I thought, this is so true. I'm a smidge off normal across the board. And that was a delight to me. Mm-hmm. I don't look for perfection, believe me. I'm grateful that I can get up every morning and feel really good. And even though I still have some pain, there's some things that can't be changed, within a short period of time after getting up, I've got it worked out again. Mm-hmm. And but without Jon, I don't think I would be where I am today. I would probably be in an institution or have had committed suicide by now, because I've lived a very difficult life. As one doctor said, you have a very intense medical history. Mm-hmm. And when I heard that, I almost collapsed when I heard that. I had lived it, but you don't pay attention until somebody says something like that, and it draws you up short, and you go, wait a minute, he's talking about me.
Right.
And now when I hear people say, you look so healthy. In fact, last night I saw somebody I hadn't seen in years. In fact, he was one of my former therapists. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and I noticed several things about him, and I thought, I know somebody could use Jon. But he made the statement to me, he said, "You really look good." And I said, "Well, thank you. For an 82-year-old, I guess I feel that way too." And that's what's important to me. I've said many times, to handle the prescription problem is to not need them. Well, there's still 3 that I still need to take. And as far as the medical community is concerned, I appreciate what their attempts were. And I do have one doctor now who oversees all of my health. And one of the delights of my life was we were going over my chart, and he said, should we still keep this in? And I said, I don't have a problem with it. He said, check it off. So we went through all of I think I had 13 different situations. I only have one left.
Sweet, that's wonderful.
And he checked them all off, and except that one. And I really think it's a lifesaver. Anything having to do with the reconnection of body, mind, and spirit is the most important thing we can do. And so I was just telling you, Angela, just recently, how important it was to me to be healthier at age 82 than even when I was younger.
Yes. It sounds like it was very transformational for you.
It was. Exactly that. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it was.
And it lifted the veil of depression, which you had mentioned earlier, that plagued you.
What I found out was when I was diagnosed, I was misdiagnosed when I was in the pain center. And I went on a wild tear with therapy sessions and whatnot. And finally I'd gotten to the point where I couldn't deal with it anymore. And I entered myself into, voluntarily went into a psych ward to deal with it. And when I was there, the doctor told me I did not have what I was diagnosed with, that what I had was flat affect panic disorder, severe depression. And he said, and you probably had it all your life. Yeah. So whatever joy you've had, it was short-lived, and he was right about that. Well, after I started with him, he put me on a different medication, and it worked for a long time. Very small doses, always small doses. And he kept close check on watch. Once I started with Jon, within 5 months, I didn't need him. I didn't need him at all.
Wonderful. Yep.
And now that I understand what depression is and what panic attacks are, I can have one in the middle of the night, and I know what it is, and I go, well, I just need to breathe through this.
Yep.
and that was the other part. I think the breath work was the most powerful of all of it, because I didn't realize I'd held my breath all my life because of fear. And once the fear of being incapable of dealing what life I had to deal with in life, the abuse and all that kind of stuff. And I abused myself because I was taught that. One does what one is taught. And now I don't believe that is necessary anymore. But anyway, I really encourage people. I tell people about it all the time, or they ask me how I got so healthy, and I will tell them, and I will give them Jon's name, and I will give them Jon's number, and whether they call or not, I don't know. I know one who did, and I know how healthy she is today.
Right.
And that's what I really, it seems to me that when there's an opportunity to get well and no longer need the attention of illness, then we will become a healthier society as well.